Next month, the biggest musical award ceremony in the UK, the Brits, will take place. But this year, it's surrounded in controversy. But to understand how we got there, first of all, we need to go back to 2019, and I need to go back to the nature reserve. Sam Smith, a talented singer-songwriter and a successful artist, and in my opinion, an attention-seeking gobshite. He'd had a lot of success in the years running up to 2019, as a singer-songwriter and as an openly gay man, and of course there's nothing wrong with that. But when his star started to fade, he announced he was then non-binary and adopted they-them pronouns. Now, a cynical person would say that was a publicity stunt. Of course, I don't think that. Sam was just speaking their truth. But to get a measure of, I was going to say measure of the man, as a measure of the individual. During the first COVID lockdowns in 2020, Sam was posting photos of themself crying. Now, I'm not saying that being isolated wasn't hard, but I guess it's a damn sight easier to be isolated in a multi-million pound property than it was for people in a one-bedroom flat, maybe in just one room. That first lockdown was a bitch. I only went out of the house for 1 hour a day. And of course, I consider I had it much easier than the healthcare workers who went up to the front lines with inadequate PPE and died of COVID. In the run-up to the Brits 2019, Smith had had a successful album. But the two top awards are Male Artist of the Year and Female Artist of the Year. So by opting to be non-binary, the stupid fucker had cancelled themselves out of the running. But as we know, anything to do with pronouns or gender sets the woke brigade off. The keyboard warriors, the Knights of the Order of QWERTY, and they started complaining. And Smith piped up saying that one day they hoped they could accept an award as a gender non-binary person. So last year, the two awards, male and female, were combined to just be Artist of the Year. And that was won, rightly so, by Adele. But during her acceptance speech, she said she understood why they were doing it, but also that she loves being a woman. This triggered all the trans activists who labelled her a bigot and a TERF. But it's not the first time Adele's come under flack. A few years ago she braided her hair for the Notting Hill Carnival and was called guilty of cultural appropriation, not association, cultural appropriation. Hair's not something I can comment on. And before that, she'd also lost weight, so the body positivity movement said she was being hateful. Yes, Adele, how dare you try and lose weight and live healthily? We want you to die of heart disease or type 2 diabetes before you're fucking 40. However, the music industry, in particular the British music industry, is still male dominated. Aside from Adele, the only real British powerhouse who happens to be a woman is Dua Lipa. And I mention her so I can put her photo up because fuck me, she's hot. But neither she nor Adele had released music in time to get them into the running for Artist of the Year. Which means that because Sam Smith wanted to wear a dress, all the nominees for this year's Artist of the Year are male. Smith responded saying that the situation isn't perfect, but that they wished there had been more queer representation when they were growing up. Now, I don't know its exact age, but I'm guessing it grew up in the 1990s. Really, Sam? You can't think of any queer or camp gay musicians from that era? Now, I'm struggling to, but I listen to heavy metal. I've never been into mainstream music. Nonetheless, because Sam wanted to wear a dress a few years ago, half of the human race is excluded from the top award. But whilst we're on about representation, how about the thousands of young girls that are going to watch the Brits next month and see there's no chance of them winning Artist of the Year because only men are able to do that? And bizarrely, the organisers of the Brits have said that for next year, they're considering making all gender-neutral categories have to have at least 50% female nominees. To me, that's even fucking worse. That's saying you're only here because you have to be, and that award is still going to be won by a man. There haven't been many jokes in this video, because it isn't a funny subject. Basically, a few years ago, some confused weirdo decided to reignite his career by dressing like the female members of ABBA from the late 1970s. And now there's no women up for the top award at the Brits. Thus, there are no women to inspire the next generation. That's fucking disgusting. And when it comes to things like gender and pronouns, yes, we know a lot of young people are just trying to discover who they are, but they're also being bombarded with it 24/7. Yet, If I'm out and I see a group of grown adults talking loudly about their pronouns and what they identify as, I'm tempted to run into the centre of that crowd and shout, I identify as a fucking hand grenade. As ever, thanks for watching.